Page 4. Do you like to ski? Listen to the model.
Do you like to ski?
No, I don't. I'm not a very good skier.
Do exercises 1 through 9. You will hear the correct line after you speak. We'll begin. 1.
Does Richard like to sing?
No, he doesn't. He isn't a very good singer.
2.
Does Brenda like to swim?
No, she doesn't. She isn't a very good swimmer.
3.
Do Mr. and Mrs. Adams like to skate?
No, they don't. They aren't very good skaters.
4.
Does Arthur like to dance?
No, he doesn't. He isn't a very good dancer.
5.
Do you like to type?
No, I don't. I'm not a very good typist.
6.
Do you and your friend like to act?
No, we don't. We aren't very good actors.
7.
Does your grandmother like to drive?
No, she doesn't. She isn't a very good driver.
8.
Do you like to play sports?
No, I don't. I'm not a very good athlete.
9.
Does Howard like to cook?
No, he doesn't. He isn't a very good cook.
1.
What are you doing?
Listen and choose the correct answer. 1.
What are you doing?
2.
Do you watch the news very often?
3.
Are you a good swimmer?
4.
What's Kathy reading?
5.
Who cooks in your family?
6.
Do they like to skate?
7.
Does your sister want to be a ballet dancer?
8.
Do you and your friends play basketball very often?
9.
Are your parents good dancers?
10.
What does Peter want to be when he grows up?
Page 7. How often? Listen to the first model.
Who are you calling?
I'm calling my sister in San Francisco.
How often do you call her?
I call her every Sunday evening.
Listen to the second model.
What are George and Herman talking about?
They're talking about their grandchildren.
How often do they talk about them?
They talk about them all the time.
Do exercises 1 through 9. In your answers, use every week. You will hear the correct line after you speak. 1. We'll begin.
Who is Mr. Tanaka calling?
He's calling his son in New York.
How often does he call him?
He calls him every week.
2. We'll begin.
Who is Mrs. Kramer writing to?
She's writing to her daughter in the army.
How often does she write to her?
She writes to her every week.
3. We'll begin.
What are the students talking about?
They're talking about their teachers.
How often do they talk about them?
They talk about them every week.
4. We'll begin.
Who is Lenny arguing with?
He's arguing with his landlord.
How often does he argue with him?
He argues with him every week.
5. We'll begin.
Who is Martha sending an email to?
She's sending an email to her granddaughter in Orlando.
How often does she send an email to her?
She sends an email to her every week.
6. You begin.
Who is Mr. Crabapple shouting at?
He's shouting at his employees.
How often does he shout at them?
He shouts at them every week.
7. You begin.
What are your parents complaining about?
They're complaining about the telephone bill.
How often do they complain about it?
They complain about it every week.
8. You begin.
What is George watching?
He's watching his favorite TV talk show.
How often does he watch it?
He watches it every week.
9. You begin.
Who is Little Red Riding Hood visiting?
She's visiting her grandmother.
How often does she visit her?
She visits her every week.
Page 9. How to say it. Asking for and reacting to information. Listen.
Tell me, where are you from?
I'm from Madagascar.
Oh. Tell me, where are you from?
I'm from Madagascar.
Really? Tell me, where are you from?
I'm from Madagascar.
Oh, really? Tell me, where are you from?
I'm from Madagascar.
That's interesting.
Reduced R. Listen, then say it.
Who are you calling? What are they talking about? Where are you from? What are you doing?
Say it, then listen.
Who are you writing to? What are they complaining about? Where are they studying? What are their names?
End of Chapter 1.